Simone Reismann, Simone Reismann. She lives in New York, the Big Apple, the Big Apple, Apple. It's Simone, the songwriter. She lives in New York, the Big Apple, the Big Apple, the Big Apple. And her guy, Valtyr lives in Iceland, where it's really cold, where it's really cold. Valtyr, far away in Iceland, where it's really cold, where it's really cold. Simone and Valtyr, long distance relationship. He lives where it's cold. She lives in the Big Apple. The big apple. Wu-Tang. Killer bees. Run a swarm. Look out for the killer bees. Wu-Tang, the killer bees coming for you. Killer bees, run a swarm. A swarm of killer bees coming for you. Wu-Tang. Foxy. The guy. His name is Foxy. He lives in East Belfast, Ireland. It's Foxy. The East Belfast living guy. It's Foxy. He loves his movie Brokebackk Mountain for Foxy. And he drives a Lupoo. A Lupoo, that's what he likes to drive. He's a poor driver. Not a good driver at all. Not a ladies' man. No, he isn't. He's not a ladies' man. He drives his Lupoo. He's a musician, but he doesn't pay his taxes. And his car got clamped. So you can't drive it anymore. And he's kinda cheap. A little bit cheap. Doesn't like to pay his taxes. He's a little cheap. A little cheap. A little cheap. A little cheap. He's kinda tall. He's really tall. It's Foxy. Foxy.